to Illuminate Del Rio with Courage, our 11th annual Domestic Violence Candlelight Vigil. I am Delia Ramos, Director of Community-Based Services at local nonprofit BCFS Health and Human Services Del Rio, where we offer prevention and education around domestic violence. In this year's vigil, we'll hear from leaders and representatives in our community who have power and desire to make a difference in cases of family violence. We will also hear directly from survivors of domestic violence and allies of our cause. By the end of this vigil, I think you will have an understanding of the scope of the problem, respect for the work we still need to do, but also a recognition of the hope we deserve to have as we continue to come together to eradicate domestic violence and offer healing to those who have been affected by it. Join me, let's illuminate Del Rio with courage. Thank you.
Hello Del Rio, I'm Bruno Lozano. In honor of BCFS 11th Annual Candlelight Vigil, we recognize the brave individuals who walked away from an unhealthy situation, but especially we recognize those who lost their lives too soon to domestic violence. There is help available and always a way out. Stand up for yourself and others who are facing similar challenges. If you or someone you know is in a situation that is unsafe, know that there are local resources and support available for you or them. No one is immune to domestic violence. While a difficult topic to discuss, it is important for us to keep our eyes open, to be a listening ear, and more importantly, a voice for those who cannot help themselves. Let us continue to come together to recognize and support victims of domestic violence. Together, we are stronger.
Hello, my name is Suzanne West.
I'm the 63rd Judicial District Attorney. So in short, I'm your DA here in Val Verde County, also in Kinney and Terrell counties as well. As District Attorney, I represent the state of Texas in felony court. So I represent the state against our community's most serious and dangerous offenders. And one thing that always is painfully clear in the process that we perform is that the survivors, the victims, no matter how young, no matter how old, the people that need the most protection are the ones in the process that often feel as though they have no representation and no advice other than what your groups and I can provide. Unfortunately, they carry the burden of the justice system. They're the star witnesses to their family's most horrific experiences. And every piece of the justice process, from the moment that law enforcement walks in their family's door to the last day that perpetrators spend in jail, is a burden completely carried by the victims in their hearts and minds. In Texas, 100% of the felons in my court, and the family violence perpetrators included, are entitled to legal representation. Unfortunately, only 2% of the family violence victims in Texas receive attorneys. Now, as prosecutors, we don't work directly for the victims, and it's heartbreaking every single time I have to try to explain it to a victim that they have to be on the stand on their own, telling their story, and I might be able to object, but I'm not their attorney that can intercede on their behalf. But the perpetrator that did the things that got us all here has an attorney right next to them, telling them what to say and protecting them from all pieces of the process. In short, it makes the victims feel like, once again, they're on their own. There's financial reasons, family reasons, safety reasons. All of these things provide these ample pressures to make many, many survivors and victims feel like it's just better to maintain the status quo and not proceed. I hear from quite a few people that it's better to just drop the charges, stay home, and it's better to be with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't. And some of us probably know stats like this, but when families do go to shelters in the state of Texas, the average time a family spends in a shelter is a mere 39.3 days. So a month and a half to find a job, get your children situated in school, change all of your financial situation, fix your financial details, transportation, childcare, completely remake your life in 39 days. Obviously difficult. It's a struggle for every single family that has to try to go through it. However, as hard as it may be, we have all of our groups here that work together to make sure they get through those days, because we all know how important those times are. One of our most recent local murder victims was a family violence victim. Her perpetrator truly believed, judging by his jail calls, that he would not be prosecuted for his abuse if first he could talk her out of testifying, which he couldn't, and then if she disappeared. There was another case that comes to mind that was truly horrific. It was the first murder case I ever took to trial. It was probably about 10 years ago. It was a family violence victim who was absolutely terrified of the boyfriend that she was trying to leave, and he ended up stabbing her multiple times, and she died. Sadly, you all, I'm sure, are aware of the border crisis that is happening right now. And even with the many smuggling cases and the many drug cases that my office is seeing, 1 in 5 cases that come through the office right now in the year 2021 stem from family violence. And for it to be a family violence felony, that's not even including the misdemeanors. A felony requires injury to a child, sexual abuse of a child, serious bodily injury, choking, or the use of a deadly weapon. So 1 in 5 cases is of a violence level that's that high. Now, luckily in our community, we have some really fantastic programs. We have programs like BCFS. We have our county shelter. We have the many agencies that have advocates internal in their agencies that help our victims through the process. We have law enforcement who has far exceeded what their training used to be in dealing with family violence victims. They've vastly increased their skills and how they're able to respond to the needs of the victims at the scene and in the early days after. Our office has started contacting victims sooner. As soon as we receive the case, we reach out to the victims immediately and make sure they're informed of the process, make sure they're aware. We also try to contact them more often throughout the process if they aren't already contacting us. I'm really excited to announce that my office is hiring its first ever standalone Victims Assistance Coordinator position. This position will allow us to provide services throughout the court process unlike any our office has ever been able to do before. And I'm really excited to have a person in the office that's going to know every case and every victim and be able to reach out on a one-on-one basis, more so than what our attorneys are already able to do. Really excited about adding that to the services that our local victims are able to take advantage of. In my 15 plus years of being a prosecutor and dealing with family violence cases, there's one thing I've definitely learned. We never know people's full stories. We never see everything that happened bad, and we don't see everything that happened good. Every family has joyous occasions and internal bonds of love, even when there's violence. And many that work in our system were survivors, and that they know firsthand the fortitude that it takes to break out of those bonds. Some, like me, just admire the strength in others, the grit of anyone that's faced down an abuser, an attacker, a violent family member, and come out the other end willing and able to keep pushing for what's best for them. To demand that life should be calmer, safer, and that there's a much better future over the horizon if this survivor can just hang in there long enough to get there. I'm honored to be part of that long walk. I'm honored to stand next to our victims and survivors and help them fight that battle. I hope that my office and our increased communication and our focus on victim safety make the process and the battles a little bit easier, and we can wage it together. To all of my fellow fighters and providers of support, thank you for letting me be part of your network of people. It is truly an impressive group. To all of our survivors, thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your conviction to follow through. And thank you for participating in these processes that protect others from the abusers as well. Just in the past few weeks, I've had 3 survivors in my office prepping for cases. And as I talk about these difficult situations, each of their faces come to mind. First, I see their tears. I can picture their attempts to be tough. And I love thinking about their stories, about their attempts to move on in their lives, to create new families and to create new futures for themselves. And most importantly, I love to think of their bravery. Each and every one of them in varying ages from 13 to 22, each and every one of them looked me in the face and said, I do not want to testify against this person that was dear to me in my life. I do not want to do it, but I will. I will do it to protect others and to break out of this bond that was holding them back from being able to move to their horizon. I only hope that the rest of us are that strong if there's ever a time that we need to be. I know that if we continue to work together and find economic and emotional independence for our survivors, and if we continue to show abusers in our community that their behavior will not be condoned, will not be hidden, and will not be excused. I know that if we do these things, we can slow down the cycle of violence. And I know that for each and every family where the survivors break out and they make it to that horizon, for that family, we've ended the cycle. Thank you all. God bless you.
La política exterior feminista de México es un conjunto de principios que buscan, desde la política exterior, impulsar acciones gubernamentales para reducir e eliminar las diferencias estructurales, brechas y desigualdades de género, con el fin de constituir una sociedad más justa y más próspera. La estrategia 2020-2021 está conformada por los siguientes ejes: política exterior con perspectiva de género y agenda feminista exterior, una Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores paritaria, una Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores libre de violencia y segura para todas. La igualdad se ve y la Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores es feminista e interseccional. Cada eje tiene acciones específicas como la presentación del Manual de Principios de Política Exterior, la adhesión de la Cancillería al programa He for She, la certificación de las representaciones en el exterior en la norma de materia de igualdad laboral y no discriminación, talleres con actores clave, desarrollar un perímetro de cuadrantes seguros y libres de violencia en las inmediaciones de la Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores, entre otras.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us on the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world, and you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Thank you for allowing me to present here today. It is an honor to be welcomed and be here to deliver such an important message to you today. National Domestic Violence Awareness Month is something that I am a strong advocate for. Just recently, I drafted a resolution at the State House in order to bring more awareness to this month. I wish there was more coverage on this throughout the year, to be honest. It is not something that people only experience 30 days out of the year. Nonetheless, I am willing to do whatever it takes to help bring awareness to this community. Due to the ongoing pandemic, the numbers of domestic violence victims has only risen. it is even more important to spread awareness and education on the cautionary signs to prevent more domestic violence. We must start the conversation of domestic violence to further spread awareness and prevent other victims. Education is a very important factor that can teach our young children about the prevention and the signs of domestic violence. With further education and conversation, more people can become aware of the silent killer that haunts the rooms of many silent victims of domestic violence. By knowing the signs, intervention can occur that can save the life of a victim. We also need to change the conversation about domestic violence and let the victims know that they should not be ashamed or believe that they did anything to deserve the violence that has occurred to them. As we educate, advocate, and intervene, we also need to encourage victims of domestic violence that there is a life ahead of them. Thank you again for having me here today. My office is always open to anyone who would like to reach out for further resources or assistance.
My name is Cristina Jimenez. I'm a single mom of 4 kids, and recently I went through a case of domestic abuse. My abuse was more mentally, emotionally, and financially. And thank you to a cop that went to my house when I called 911. He gave me the BCFS card, and after that I called the people here, and they started helping me with my kids, with any necessities that I had. They become really friendly to me. They listen to me. They guide me through my process. They gave me all this kind of help that I certainly needed at the time. So I've been very blessed that I landed here at BCFS with my kids. They have been such a great people to us. When I first called BCFS, I was a little bit nervous because, of course, I was feeling ashamed about my situation. I wanted no one to know about it. Not even my parents knew, not even my closest friend knew what was going on for more than 10 years. And, just making that call, it took me a time, but I really knew that I needed it. And as soon as they answered, they just been very, very polite to me, very respectful. They never wanted to know more about my situation, just what I just told. My first advice to give you to how to pass from being a victim to become a survivor, it's number 1, acknowledging your situation. Sometimes you're living in abuse that you don't know that you live in abuse. In my situation, I rarely had physical abuse, but mostly I had emotional abuse, bringing me down, telling me that I'm not worthy. Of course, with that emotionally abuse, there was attached financially abuse, taking away cell phones because they paid cell phones, taking away car keys, taking away, just letting me out of the house because that house I didn't pay for. So you start seeing yourself as a little person, you start seeing yourself as no value, no asset to your family other than just being there as a mom or as a companion. So if you want to pass from being a victim to being a survivor, you need to accept your situation. You need to accept and then look for help. I had no idea where to go. I was embarrassed to go to my mom. I was embarrassed to tell my friends. And this cop, whenever I called the 911 after a fight that we had, he gave me a card. He gave me the BCFS card, and I had it in my car for a month or so until I really decided, this is it. This is the time. So don't wait to have the perfect moment to leave or to look for help, because that perfect moment will never ever get here. And then this time keeps adding, and then your situation keeps getting bigger and bigger. So emotionally abuse usually takes to physical abuse. If you're not in that physical abuse yet and you're on the first stage, which is emotionally abuse, don't let it move further anymore. You know, you need to take action today and save yourself and save your kids. I talk to women and they tell me that they don't leave because of their kids. And for me, it was a complete opposite. I left because of my kids. I have the blessing to have 3 boys and 1 daughter. And I've always used to think, you know, whenever this like certain situation happened in my marriage, I don't want my kids to think that this is normal. I don't want my kids to grow up and do this to their wives, or for my daughter to be treated like this and just let it by because her mom did. Don't use your kids as an excuse. Use them as a motive, as an inspiration for you looking for that best life possible for you and them. My life now, after a year, it's been a long process. It's been a lot of healing, a lot of, you know, taking out the bad, bringing in the good. And one thing that I decided to do is, you know, reach out to help also spiritually. I knew that there was a really wish on myself that I needed to grow on that part of me. So I started going to church. I started, you know, building a relationship with God. And that's what also has given me a lot of strength, you know, because once you know who you are, who were you created by, that you're like a precious creature that were created by the mostly honored God, you feel yourself valuable after so many years of listening that I was not worthy, that I was ugly, that I was bad, that I was all these bad things. I came to God and I listened to what He had to say about me, that I am loved, that I am valuable, that I am worthy, that I am redeemed, that I am forgiven, you know. And I felt for so many times that I was still mad. And I wasn't mad at him, or I wasn't mad at that situation. I was mad at myself. I was mad at myself for letting it go so far. And it was something that I had to do. I had to forgive myself. You know, I felt that I had let go about my situation, because I rarely like to thinking me as a victim, because I took responsibility on my side. But knowing that those 10, 11 years went by with me letting it was something that was bothering me. So I came to Jesus' feet and I just asked Him for forgiveness, and then I forgive myself for letting that go. And after that, I felt like a burden taking, you know, out of me, and it was such a blessed day. And after that, I can say that I've been redeemed. You know, every day is a new day. I want you to feel like I'm feeling right now, because it's all about the peace. You know, it's all about being peaceful, being grateful, being happy, going out with no fear, going out with knowing that you are capable and that you're worthy about all the blessings that God has already in store for you. Me gustaría decirle a todas las mujeres que me están viendo es que a veces vivimos en abuso, pero no sabemos que estamos pasando por algún abuso. Entonces, lo primero que tenemos que hacer para pasar de una víctima a una sobreviviente es aceptar la situación en la que estás, es saber que en ese momento tal vez no es bueno y es sano lo que se vive, pero es la realidad. Y si no se acepta, entonces se sigue sobreviviendo una tras otro día, y es cuando llega un momento donde te puedes asfixiar. Entonces, mi mayor consejo que te puedo dar es que aceptes que necesitas ayuda, aceptes que estás en una situación donde estás siendo violentada emocionalmente, mentalmente, que la realidad es que no siempre hay golpes, ¿no? No siempre hay golpes. Una de mis abusos financieros consistía en: te quito el celular porque yo lo pago, ¿no? Te quito las llaves del carro porque yo lo pago. Salte de mi casa porque esta es mi casa y yo lo pago. Y eran cuestiones que en ese momento yo no sabía que era sabía que me dolía, pero no sabía que era un abuso financiero. Entonces, por la situación en la que estés pasando, ya sea financiero, emocional, ¿verdad? Abuso mental, tienes que hacerte responsable de que estás dejando que pase y que tienes que tomar acción en este momento. Yo sé que aquí las personas de BCFS están listas y preparadas para ayudarte tanto a ti como a tu familia, como si tienes niños. Te voy a decir algo que una vez me dijeron: no esperes a que todo esté bien, porque en estas situaciones, para dejar a esa persona, porque en estas situaciones usualmente nunca hay un momento, like a good timing, tienes que hacerlo hoy, ¿no? Cuando yo decidí dejar a mi pareja fue una explosión, ¿no? Fue como una bomba que estalló en ese momento. Yo obviamente que querías buscar el momento perfecto, no existe. Haz que el momento sea ahora y sal de esa situación para que lo más pronto posible te conviertas de una víctima a una sobreviviente. Encuentro con mujeres que me dicen que no se van por sus hijos, ¿no? Y yo me pasó todo lo contrario cuando yo tomé la decisión. Yo dije: por mis hijos me tengo que ir. Yo tengo la bendición de tener 3 hombres y una mujer. Y tanto yo no quería que mis hijos vieran que ese era un patrón de conducta que se tenía que repetir, como ellos cuando fueran esposos, ¿no? Y tanto no quería que mi hija viera que así era como se trataba a una mujer y que ella en un futuro fuera a permitir lo que yo permití. Entonces, a veces puedes decir: bueno, es que mis hijos están chiquitos, están grandes, pero los niños son una esponja, los niños ven todo, los niños oyen todo, los niños transmiten todo lo que pasa en casa. Así que no pongas a tus hijos como excusa, sino ponlos como una razón, como un motivo para seguir adelante, para buscar una mejor vida, para buscar ayuda y para darles a ellos, junto contigo, la vida que se merecen. Después de un año, un largo año, ¿verdad? Que para mí parecía interminable. Ha sido un año de mucha sanación, de mucha restauración. Honestamente, no ha sido fácil. Esto quiero que te quede bien claro, que no va a ser un camino fácil, pero es más fácil estar en este proceso de sanación que encontrarte en la misma situación que te encontrabas hace un año. Entonces, yo lo que hice personalmente fue que yo busqué mi encuentro con Cristo. Yo empecé a asistir a la iglesia, ¿verdad? Le entregué mi alma a Dios, porque ciertamente sabía que tenía un vacío. Yo tenía un vacío muy grande que ni mis hijos, ni nada, ni mi trabajo, ni nada podía llenar, y sabía que solamente me faltaba llenar esa parte. Entonces, cuando yo llegué a los pies de Cristo y yo me entregué, yo sentía que traía una espinita por dentro, ¿no? Y yo decía: pero siento que ya lo perdoné a Él, siento que ya perdoné mi situación, ya dejé de hacerme una víctima, me convertí en una persona víctima responsable, pero tenía que perdonarme a mí. Tenía que perdonarme a mí por haber permitido, haber soportado, ¿verdad? Tantos años, de haber permitido que se me devaluara tanto como mujer. Y honestamente, yo sé que hay muchas mujeres que me pueden ver que lo primero que hacemos es nuestros hijos. Primero nuestros hijos. Y yo, personalmente, yo creo que primero nosotros como mujer, porque si estamos bien como mujer, consecuentemente vamos a reflejarlo en nuestros hijos. Entonces yo tuve que perdonarme a mí misma, tuve que sanar para que Dios pudiera en ese momento sanar esa herida que yo tenía y poder estar aquí el día de hoy hablando contigo. Yo quiero que todas puedan sentir la paz que yo siento, porque de eso se trata, sentir paz, sentir gratitud, sentir amor, sentir valentía. Y a veces estamos en lugares donde sentimos todo lo contrario, donde sentimos dolor, donde sentimos cansancio, donde sentimos que ya nuestras fuerzas no podemos. A veces nos han enseñado en esta vida que no está bien que nos rendamos, pero te voy a decir una cosa: si el día de hoy te piensas rendir, te invito a que te rindas en los pies de Cristo, que rindas tu situación, y yo sé que Él ha puesto a personas como las que trabajan aquí en BCFS para que sean esas bendiciones en tu vida que van a ayudarte a salir de la situación en la que te encuentras.
Hello, my name is Mariela Lane, and I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. I was very fortunate to get out of my first marriage. It takes a lot to come in here and speak my story, but I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. I'm here to tell you that you need to speak. You need to tell somebody your story, and you need to ask for help, because most likely, if it happened once, it's going to happen again. I'm here to tell you that you are loved and that God loves you and that you need to give your faith to Him. I'm here to tell you that domestic abuse, emotional abuse, does not discriminate. It does not discriminate race, financial status, religion, or anybody. I'm here to tell you that you are not alone and that I'm praying for you and I love you. Thank you.
One small voice can teach the world a song. Start with one small voice till another joins along. world a song. Start with one small voice till another joins along. Can you feel the music growing full and sure and strong? One small voice can teach our world a song, a song. One small voice can teach the world a song. Start with one small voice till another joins along. When you feel the music growing full and sure and strong, one small voice can teach the whole
Hello, I'm Chief Ramirez with the Del Rio Police Department, and I'm here to talk a little bit about domestic violence. Domestic violence can affect both men and women. It doesn't matter your age, your race, your gender, or even your background. Anyone can be affected by domestic violence. There are a variety of indicators that might suggest that someone is in an abusive relationship. Some of the things that stand out would be a change in behavior. They're acting different. They're doing different things. Sudden onset of depression, fear of being touched. Suddenly when you're touching, the skin starts to crawl and you start to get agitated. Changes in sleep patterns. Those are things that are indicators. Sudden onset of nightmares. Mysterious or unexplained bruises that come up with no explanation. Wearing long sleeve shirts when it's hot or when it's summer months. Frequent use of hats or sunglasses and makeup to cover up marks that are noticeable. So remember, if you see something, say something. Stopping domestic abuse is everyone's responsibility. Do what you can. We all need to work together. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I look forward to meeting you.
Justin Barlow, 30, Neches. Linda Morris, 78, Westwood. Aaron Gorman Dinning, 62, Rockport. David Quiñones, 52, Pleasanton. Aurora Angelina Martinez, 48, Pleasanton. Jennifer Story, 36, Poteet. Margie Arjillo, 48, Poteet. Amanda Gail Moeller, 40, Newlam. Latanya Washington, 46, Harker Heights. Nilsa Maria Ars, 50, Killeen. Sergeant First Class Letitia Tucker Green, 41, Converse. Carlos Javier Cifuentes, 39, Leon Valley. Christopher Jones, 57, San Antonio. Mary Magdalene Sanchez, 45, San Antonio. Marisela Cadena, 43, San Antonio. John Markberger, 47, San Antonio. Catherine Algarin, 41, San Antonio. Tiffany Desiree Washington, 25, San Antonio. Claudia Garcia, 48, San Antonio. Miranda Sage Milwaukee, 27, San Antonio. April LeClaire, 39, San Antonio. Cora Nickel, 27, San Antonio. Gabriela Albright, 55, San Antonio. Dominga Pesqueda, 33, San Antonio. Janice Marie Holland, 82, San Antonio. Jose Salvador Telles Tapia, 33, Somerset. Erna Dowell, 34, Universal City. Jessica Mares, 29, Alvin. Stephen Daniel Stewart, 46, Clute. Brianna Warren, 24, Rocheron. Loretta Lynn Aguirre, 56, Bryan. Angie Crystal Saucedo, 19, College Station. Susan Michelle Schrain, 45, Granite Shoals. Kaylin Gann, 27, Luling. Amelia Arely Garza, 42, Brownsville. Adela Gonzalez Martinez, 39, Brownsville. Maria Alanis Villarreal, 74, San Benito. Christina Payne, 39, Baytown. Margie Barlow, 54, McKinney. Desiree Berndanducci, 37, New Braunfels. Marisol Martinez, 33, New Braunfels. Ashlyn Smith, 18, De Leon. Larry John Hall, Proctor. Randall Holly, 63, Whitesboro. Kiera Michelle Ware, 27, Caparas Cove. Alyssa Burkett, 24, Carlton. Emily Sarah Bingabing, 22, Dallas. Latiffany Rogers, 26, Dallas. Brittany Howard, 31, Dallas. Jennifer DeZorn, 21, Dallas. Cassius Williams, 25, Dallas. Abigail Manriquez, 26, Dallas. Celeste Murray, 21, Dallas. Ronald Ray Briscoe, 54, Dallas. Shakenia Arnie Horton, 38, Dallas. Jennifer Hickman, 37, Dallas. Victoria Bunton, 35, Dallas. Nicole McChristen, 40, Dallas. Rachel Escamilla, 38, Dallas. Linda Simmons, 65, Dallas. Josefina Alonso de la Sierra Avila, 36, Dallas. Brianna Marie Johnson, 30, Dallas. Portia Williams Edwards, 46, Grand Prairie. Miriam Dalila Reyes, 44, Irving. Brandy Sapp, 46, Irving. Marquita McCleary, 28, Mesquite. Olga Korobovskwa, 58, Richardson. Megan Darling, 30, Denton. Diane Kramer, 45, Denton. Kyle Laborda, 34, Denton. Leslie Lynn Hartman, 46, Denton. Frederick Weisingle, 51, Hickory Creek. Suzanne Atkins Howard, 58, Justin. Caleb Pearson, 31, Little Elm. April Robinson, 36, Providence Village. Charisma Maynard, 18, Eastland. Veronica Carrillo, 38, Odessa. Jorge Luis Vasquez, 39, El Paso. Karika Robinson, 21, El Paso. Norma Martinez, 58, El Paso. Captain Malcolm Perry, 27, El Paso. Erin Teresa Hawkins, 37, Horizon County. Marta Reina, 52, Socorro. Tracy Lee Jones, 41, Dublin. Lynette Brown, 49, Houston. Christy Cousin Carter, 44, Katy. Brandy Willis, 48, Katy. Maria Petra Zuniga, 50, Rosenberg. Christopher Wilson, 39, Stafford. Diana Lynn Logan, 48, Sugarland. Theresa Akibo, 53, Sugarland. Marcela Brizuela, 38, Dickinson. Savannah Kinchan Paschal, 30, Lamarck. Megan Ficklin, 21, San Leon. Grace Kaldenberg, 79, Texas City. Emilia Gunnels, 21, Sherman. Pamela Ann Pence, 60, Southmide. Joshua Huffman, 32, Longview. Linda Faye Daly Downs, 68, Abernathy. Norma Astrid Martinez, 49, Baytown. Katie Hawk, 46, Baytown. Jose Alvarado, 25, Channel View. Julie De La Garza, 20, Cypress. Mary Graciela Falcon Medellin, 38, Galena Park. Dominic Jefferson, 33, Houston. Taya Boss, 35, Houston. Ray Court, 66, Houston. Anita Bartosh, 81, Houston. Angela Marie Perez Sanchez, 27, Houston. Charlene Gravel, 36, Houston. Chi Tylene Lee, 29, Houston. Darlene Solis, 33, Houston. Aaron Connor, 41, Houston. Cody John, 24, Houston. Derek Randall, 53, Houston. Andrea Williams, 39, Houston. April Daniels Burleson, 33, Houston. Kimberly Robinson, 28, Houston. Jessica Rose Bettis, 24, Houston. Ashley Garcia, 27, Houston. Elizabeth Hernandez, 30, Houston. Artina Cooper, 33, Houston. Danielle Hart, 25, Houston. Tammy Stabler, 39, Houston. Rita Acosta, 43, Houston. Iluminada Marrero Perdoma, 27, Houston. Brianna Johnson, 28, Houston. Dondre Adams, 22, Houston. Itzel Sanchez, 24, Houston. Vicky Pennington, 52, Houston. Claudia Echeverria, 40, Katy. Tanya Melton, 47, Nazoo Bay. Alexandria Palate, 50, Spring. Christina Mata Gran, 34, Spring. Rhonda Williams, 49, Spring. Yashika Fontenot, 46, Spring. Terry Thomas Jones, 60, Marshall. Diana Stace Weiss, 63, Buddha. Ashley Nicole Coons, 27, Athens. Name and age not released. Woman of 70, Chandler. Christy Lean Combs, 36, Mauban. Norman Wayne Thomas, 63, Pain Springs. Berta Bermudez, 41, Edinburgh. Craig Chastain, 31, Edinburgh. Alyssa Martinez, 23, Edinburgh. Olga Guadalupe Guevara, 30, Edinburgh. Melissa Banda, 37, McAllen. Melinda Edmondson, 49, Sulphur Springs. Ebony Matz, 20, Commerce. Kelvin McMahon, 49, Beaumont. Kayla Rice, 33, Beaumont. Taylor Rodriguez, 23, Port Arthur. Heather Delmar, 44, Port Neches. Alan Price, 65, Paris. Jasmine Rodriguez, 17, Littlefield. Julio Munoz, 44, Giddings. Trina Monique Jordan, 49, Cleveland. Misty Hertnon, 39, Dayton. Stacy Dawes Lawton, 36 George West. Kayla Quintero, 29 Lubbock. Kiara Jones, 26 Lubbock. Haven Trevino, 19 Lubbock. Nathaniel Blodel, 26 Lubbock. Crystal Richards, 28 Waco. Sakira Antoinette Young, 21 Waco. Iracema Diaz, 44 Midland. Brandy Snyder, 41 Midland. Sarah Tucker, 50 Midland. Steve Randall Walker, 64 Cleveland. Miranda Freshwater, 20 Conroe. Thomas John Kinney, 71 Spring. Elizabeth Garner Vance, 29 Willis. Alma Rocha Maldonado, 31 San Agustin. Ashley Lynn Carey, 32 Newton. Cristel Peña, 28 Corpus Christi. Aaron Dunn, 28 Corpus Christi. Sarah Martinez, 30 Corpus Christi. Beatriz Nieto, 14 Corpus Christi. Rhonda Renee Sears, 56 Weatherford. Tara Sue Brown, 44 Fort Stockton. Kara Barrow, 36 Amarillo. Georgina Strawman Landrum, 54 Clarksville. Ruth Ann Thurman, 90 Franklin. Mercedes Rangel Torres, 62 Winters. Hallie Johnson, 20 Henderson. Livy Heather Lewis, 19 Hempville. Douglas Janice, 64 Hempville. Shelby Duarte, 23 Lindell. Leslie Gamino, 42 Tyler. Alan Ferguson, 58 Tyler. Diamond Samantha Cruz, 21 Tyler. Antonio Merle, 30 Arlington. Larry Beneke, 49 Arlington. Sue Sudduth, 65 Arlington. Alejandra Martinez, 59 Arlington. Vanessa Fretz, 42, Azle. Marita Ducker, 53, Fort Worth. Sami Burke, 33, Fort Worth. Jasmine Cordero, 21, Fort Worth. Kendra Williams, 36, Fort Worth. Castanica Guy, 31, Fort Worth. Jasmine Page, 24, Fort Worth. Blanca Rodriguez, 41, Fort Worth. Mark Elmore, 53, Fort Worth. Karen Ellsworth, 56, Fort Worth. Betty Jean Nickel, 86, Harlem City. Athea Simone Chapman, 23, Haslett. Teresa Pasco Slayer, 58, Keller. Darian Cheryl Burley, 26, Mansfield. Michelle Raleigh, 49, Abilene. Antonio Fletcher, 53, San Angelo. Selena Bradley, 23, San Angelo. Nicholas Wayne Kinslow, 32, Austin. Alex Ars, 25, Austin. Almi Orzal, 26, Austin. Timothy Niles, 53, Pflugerville. Lakita Ravette Hurd, 30, Pflugerville. Amber Pillows, 32, Groventon. Israel Phillips, age not released, Prairie View. Ileana Lisbeth Estrada, 29, Laredo. Selena Bradley, 23, San Angelo. Nicholas Wayne Kinslow, 32, Austin. Alec Ars, 25, Austin. Leslie Hernandez, 18, Laredo. Graciela Alejandra Espinosa, 19, Laredo. Maria Eugenia Muñoz, 31, Laredo. Sabrina Bowen, 20, Shamrock.
Thank you for attending the 2021 Virtual Candlelight Vigil. We are blessed with another year together to recognize the importance of the families, the faces, and the stories of people who are survivors and those who have lost their lives to domestic violence. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to the Del Rio community, to our many partners,
and to those people that we serve for all coming together to bring awareness and to take this stand against violence. I'd like to take a moment to say a very special thank you to our very own BCFS staff, Claudia Lopez, Maria de la Cruz, Alma Torres, Carla Sanchez, and Delia Ramos. Without them, these vital services that seek to end domestic violence in Del Rio would not at all be possible. We hope to see you all again next year as we continue to honor victims and to elevate the survivors at our annual Domestic Violence Candlelight Vigil. Until then, thank you all for walking alongside us on this journey to end domestic violence. Please continue to stay safe.